Do you feel like advertising is a little bit secretive and you just want somebody, just lay it out for me, step by step. Just tell me what to do. I know advertising works. I don't know how to do it. Can somebody just come in and be my like Jiminy Cricket, my Sherpa, the person who's going to come alongside me and say, don't do this, oh, do this, and do it like that. I am so excited to bring you somebody who people say I talk fast, and then when the two of us get together, people are like going to listen to this on 0.5 speed. What is going to blow your mind right now in the next, 58 minutes will be a new pathway for you to expand your business, for you not just to get clients, but for you to hand pick your ideal client, for you to know what to say, when to say, how to say it. So it's no longer a guessing game. And if you could just trust the process, if you could just follow the recipe, what we're going to be doing is expanding your horizons and potential. I couldn't be more excited to bring no other than Ashley Brock to the Jasmine Star Show. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, good. No. It's not. You're not going to give me the polite. I'm so excited to be here.
I really am.
Okay, you are, but like we're going to do that again because we were vibing before the podcast starts, and all of a sudden it's just like, welcome to Channel 9 News. I'm so happy to be here. No, girl,
I am excited on level 10.
Thank you. Okay, so you and I have had conversations. We mostly know each other on social media, except when I hugged you, I said, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you, because I feel like we've known each other for a long time.
I do too.
And that's just what the internet does.
Yeah.
And so then we had the opportunity to talk via Zoom. We really vibed with each other. I started paying a lot of attention to what it was you were doing. I started consuming your content, and I'm like, okay, there's something about the way that you lay it out. And I was like, my audience, the people who listen, my friends, our folks around this table, were like, just lay it out for us. Then we get to assess, is this in alignment for me? What am I going to do with it? Half of us will try to do it on our own and then figure out, okay, like the best is the best because they're the best.
Yeah.
They're willing to do the work. And then other of us will stay a little bit interested. So when you and I started talking about this framework, I just said, okay, we'll get to your origin story. We're going to get to why you're the master blaster from Lancaster. We're going to get to why you're all the special secret sauce. But first and foremost, I want to serve from a place of power. And when you broke down this Rainmaker Method, I said, well, I'm with my people, because it takes a rainmaker to know a rainmaker.
That's right.
How we all want to be rainmakers. So we're going to get into that right now. Okay. But there's somebody who's listening and they're debating. They're on YouTube. They're listening on Spotify, and they're like, I'm not really about ads. I've tried it. They don't work. Talk to us at the end of the episode. What do they know? What do they have? What are they in love with? Tell us. Sell us a sizzle, baby.
They know for sure that what they are saying is either the right thing or the wrong thing. And I think so many people, they want to be like, oh, I have the perfect message. This is it. But they don't know what it takes to actually have it. Maybe they think they feel in alignment with it, but this is a framework that beyond a shadow of a doubt, you will say, this will change my communication. And it'll change it maybe for your ads, but also for your organic posts, your landing page, because with ads, it's more than just the ads. That's why that event in February is called More Than Ads, because so many people, they just focus on the ad. But if you bring someone to a place like a landing page that's confusing, ads are like turning up the music on a bad song. It's just louder, not better. Like we have to make sure the place we're sending them to is good, and this messaging just applies to all of it.
Okay, good. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to bring this a little bit really high level.
Yep.
Your job as an entrepreneur is to get more people to pay attention to what it is that you do and you sell. And I don't care if you believe it or not. I believe that I've created the show because I'm here to empower people to know that their offer is something special, unique, and it is needed. And so then I thought that the synergy that we could create together is if you believe that your offer is all that and can change people's lives and can improve and get them a result that they want, then all Ashley is going to say is her philosophy and her approach is how do we get more and how do we get deep and how do we do it in the right way and how do we do it step by step. That's why she's here. So at the end of it, we're going to know, is your messaging working?
Yep.
Who it's for. And it's not just for ads. We're talking about the messaging has to be continuous throughout everything.
Yep.
All right, let's dive in. We're going to get into the origin story, but like, no, we're going to start here.
We're going to
make it rain.
We are going to make it rain. That's why it's called the Rainmaker Framework. Okay, so that's how you can remember it. So the R is resonance and relevance. So the way I like to think about it is you want what you're saying to resonate, don't you? Like you want someone to be like, that is exactly where I am. And so there's really three main places that people are that you can like resonate or relate to.
Okay, one of the things that you had said that I really loved, you said, is it relevant to the problem? I love that. When I was going through your Rainmaker Method, I thought to myself, I'm a consumer. And as I'm scrolling, is it relevant to a problem I have?
That's right.
And I thought that was really powerful. Sorry, go on.
No, I love it. That's right.
Okay.
So what you said is problem. So there's problem aware, people who already know I have a problem. So let's use burnout as an example. Okay. I think I've experienced that before. I don't know if you have, but it's been a challenge. And so I was in denial. Like, you know how you're like, I don't have that. That is when someone who is symptom aware, not problem aware. So think about it. There is problem aware, symptom aware, and there is solution aware. So symptom would mean they don't even know that they have a problem. There's something bothering them, or like it's hard for them, and they can't even see that I have a problem.
Problem aware is I know I need to lose weight.
Correct.
Symptom aware is my pants feel a little tighter.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep. And then solution aware is this person is a nutrition and dietitian that I want to work with as a personal trainer. Okay. So, and honestly, there's kind of a 4-step. So there's the symptom. I don't know what the deal is. There's a problem. I know I have it. There's solution aware. And then there's your solution aware.
Oh, I got it.
You know,
I got it.
Because with ads, like the goal is that they're finding you for your specific solution. And I think the mistake that people make with their messaging is they're assuming, duh, of course you know the problem. Of course you know you're not great at social media content. Of course you know you're not great at ads, but people don't actually know. And so what I found is if you can help someone realize that their symptoms are a problem, they'll trust you better with the solution.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. So I have always looked at when I was first starting or I had a smaller audience, getting them to believe that my solution was a solution, AKA my offer.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder because they're like, we don't know you from Adam.
Yes.
But if I was good at articulating a struggle point or something they wanted resolved, they were more likely to be with my journey and then say, well, you know what? You are the person who I want to help solve the problem. Yeah. That's R for Rainmaker. And that's relevancy or resonance.
That's it.
Okay.
And the next one is A. And Jasmine, something that you may or may not know is that I love to rhyme. And I'm going to talk about why that matters so much in a minute. But A is articulation. So what I like to say is articulation leads to the elevation of your communication, because it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And so often I've seen ads from people or even their posts on social media or an email. And I'm like, what you're saying are the words, but how you're saying it, that is what's going to change the game from someone saying, oh, this is someone I want to listen to. Like you speak with such conviction and just the energy that you bring when you click record, that's why people are listening. So I think articulation is overlooked. People are like, what are the words? I'm like, but how are you saying it?
Okay. So oftentimes I like to push back, not because I'm not a believer, but because I like to make it bulletproof.
Let's do it.
There are people who look at me and say, that will never be me. I can't bring that, or that's not even who I am. So when somebody hears that, they immediately disqualify. But I know you, if somebody doesn't have the same level of energy, you're not saying you got to be a certain way.
No.
But for somebody who doesn't identify with high energy or vivacious, what are you actually saying?
I'm saying people will buy from you because it's you, no matter who you are.
So articulation isn't a standard. It's subjective. It's like, I'm vibing with this person the way that, because I rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Fair.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay.
I love when people skip my ads, especially on YouTube. I'm like, great, I'm not paying for that ad because you
like, don't click on it.
If you hate me, you'll hate my training.
You're right. Okay. So it's not about an energy level. It's a high energy level. It's just about an energy level that's resonant with that person.
It's how you're saying what you're saying.
Okay.
Like all it is sometimes people will send me an ad and they were so nervous. And it's just because, of course, you're going to be nervous the first time you record. And I was like, you were at the same tone the whole time.
Yes.
And I was like, and I know, especially when I know the person, I'm like, I know that's not how you actually speak. I can tell that like how they're articulating is not how they actually articulate in person. So it's like the coach in me saying, you're not articulating your message well. The message is right. Let's just say it. And the articulation, you know how they say, like, if you're speaking on stage, wear heavier makeup because of the lighting.
Yes.
I think about that with articulation too. I'm like, if you feel like you're a 10, it's probably a 6. So I just trying to bring out some sort of passion, whatever that looks like for you. You know, maybe it's fun. Maybe it's, I don't know.
So my dad's a pastor in East LA. And I think that the way that I speak is only because every Sunday I sat, I mean, the church didn't even have pews. They had like fold out chairs.
Yes.
Because every Sunday I'm sitting in a fold out and I'm just listening and you don't even realize what's happening, but the way that the cadence goes then the long pause and then you wait for forgiveness.
Yes.
You know, so
yes.
like, I think that I've just like inherited that. So people are like, your articulation. I was like, well, thanks, Dad. I was like sitting there with the book of Revelation.
Oh, yeah. No, that's how it works. Like you grab, the more you hang around a person or a theme, of course you're going to pick up on some of it. And just say, thanks, Dad, because you count it.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Okay, so relevancy, articulation, not what you say, but how you say it. And it doesn't have to be high energy. It has to be a vibe that's going to attract the person you want to work with.
That's right.
I
is identifiability. I know that's a long word, but really it's just like identify who you're speaking to and just say that.
Okay.
And I have a good thing that's coming on the other side of this one too, is once you realize who you're speaking to. So for ads, of course, it's like, hey, business owner, or hey, local service-based brick and mortar business owner, whatever that specificity is. So even if it's like, hey, course creator on your way to six figures, like just being very specific. So Stacy, this actually kind of ties to another example. One of the ads that we were talking about
Hold on, wait, just put context for people who are watching and listening.
Yes.
Stacy Tuschel.
Yes.
Brilliant, phenomenal powerhouse entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Mutual friend of ours.
Yep.
Brilliant mind.
Yep.
So when Ashley just tossed in Stacy, we had to add context because any woman born between, 1980
She's
and
like, "It's me."
1987 is like, they're talking about me.
Jasmine, that was identifiability. All the Stacys out there, if you have a business, this is for you, okay? You're going to love it. But yeah, so Stacey's incredible. And one of the things that she found is in some of her ads, that first sentence of like the credibility mixed with who it's for, that's some of the best performing ones.
Okay, but break it down. Give me an example.
Okay, so let's give an example. Say you are...
So Stacey would be cool if we used her as an example.
Of course she would.
I'll text her and be like, we used you as an example
Yeah,
today.
you're welcome for this example.
Okay, so talked about like what was there, what was missing, and then how it was amplified.
So for
identification.
Okay, so one of her best performing ads has kind of one of the other letters we're going to talk about in a minute, which is credibility.
Okay.
And it's just saying, here's exactly why you can listen to me. Okay. And so she had that, and it's like, hey, I have this 8-figure business. And if you are specifically struggling with, maybe you feel like the ultimate decisions in your company all rely upon you. Maybe you feel like you are the system itself. That is specificity. And you're like, oh my gosh, I am a system. If I'm not there, like there is a problem. And so being able to figure out how not every single person is going to relate to that message. So when you create an ad, it's like, how can we say the same credibility? Like I have this 8-figure business and have different who's it's for. Like, for example, there's this guy, this will tie back to Stacy too. So on Instagram the other day, I had a post that someone saw that someone else liked. And so a friend was like, do you know this guy? And turns out this guy has 1.5 million followers. He was in the NFL. He has this builder channel on YouTube. And I messaged him and I was like, how will I help you with ads and you help me with YouTube organic for just a minute? We had a quick call and he was like, Ashley, you're doing such a good job, but the only thing you're not doing is you're creating content based on what you want to talk about versus who it's for. He was like, actually just do the who first and then make the content. And it's the same thing with ads. You could say, hey, photographers, or hey, boutique owners, or hey, this, and have the same rest of the message, but the hook is different because you've identified who that is at the beginning.
So what do I hear you say? Clearly identify that target demographic or make tiered levels of ads to go after a demographic if the messaging is all the same on the back end after they hook?
Kind of both.
Okay.
You know how people say have your like multiple content buckets? I mean, I feel like you know that so well. It's like, what if you had who buckets?
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And called that out on your ads.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good. I feel like 2027, I'm already casting goals for 2027.
Oh.
Legit. Like,
okay.
legit. It's like,
I'm going to go work on that tonight in the hotel room.
No, it's like, because like, I know that the foundation, if I just build the foundation without the why, I kind of feel like I'm just shoveling in the sand.
Yes.
But if I know that what I'm shoveling in the sand is the foundation for what's going to be coming, then I'm like, okay, I'm getting who buckets, but we got to build out this system. We got to build out the team. And so that is like the thing is like those late nights digging in the sand is because of the buckets in 27. Let's go.
That is so good. All right, now I have a project tonight. So when you think about the who, the only other thing that I've noticed that people do with their ads is, you know, the 5 love languages?
Yes.
And it says that you give love, you're supposed to give love how they want to receive it.
Yes.
But sometimes we give love how we want to.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So we're on the same page. So people do that with their ads. They sell how they like to be sold to. So they make ads, like an example. So 4 different buyer types. So you have and I want to know which one you are. I think I know, but like, let's see. So there's 4 different buyer types. And so even when you're making your ads, if you think about who and how they buy, that can help you too. So the 4 buyer types, number 1, analytical. So they're data driven. They need proof, details, comparisons. They're kind of slow paced.
Okay.
2, amiable. They're more relationship driven. They need trust, reassurance, social proof. They're slower and more consensus seeking. Number 3 is expressive. So they are excitement driven. They just need inspiration, big vision, recognition. They're fast, emotional. Here's the dream. Go for it. And number 4 is the driver. So they are more results driven. So they need efficiency, clarity, speed, and they're extremely fast.
Okay, what do you think I am?
I feel like you're 3.5. I feel like you're in between 3 and 4, but I lean towards 3.
I'm a hard 4.
Are you a 4?
I think that definitely, because I was like, I know that I come across as a certain way online, but like the real, it's like, I'm a hard 4.
Wow.
I'm like a 12 out of 10 4.
Wow. Okay. So my 3.5 was, I'm going to say I'm a 3.
Okay.
Like I'm a pretty solid 3.
Okay.
Like I'm like the person, like I want to buy, like if someone runs an ad and they want Ashley to buy, it's like, just let me know that I'm seen, like that I'm not just like a number. And as long as you know that that's true and you like care about me, I'm like, I'm in.
Oh
I
my
see the
God, I
vision.
find this fascinating because it kind of pushes me off when people are like, we see you. I was like, you don't need to see me. Give me the result. How do you give me that result?
Yep.
Because we're good.
So-
I'll go to a sales call and I'm like, I just watch the sales. I was like, this is fantastic. And now I know what you're going to do. Now I know what you're going to say. So I'm just here. I'm going to let you go. But I've already made my decision and I've put a quality amount to it because I understand value.
Yes.
So we could just get there and I'll decide right now.
Totally. And the thing is, I know, so I make decisions quickly. Like I do want results and I'm very fast, but it's like, I just want to know that when I buy, it's like, good. Yes, this can help you. Like I like that validation, but then I make a decision.
Your buyer.
So quickly.
What are they?
They're all 4, which is why sometimes I will literally make, I just launched an ad yesterday, day before, and it was just a testimonial of me zooming in on a Zoom call of just someone saying something about a result. That's the data. I'm like, I just want to show, because my favorite thing, and the guy on YouTube actually told me this, he saw one of my YouTube captions and it said, how we saved 6 figures in taxes. He said, never do that. He said, say how we saved, $732,362.91. And so now I'm like, someone on the ad was like, I spent $9,200 whatever and got a return. So I really do have to make ads for each of them.
So good.
Because you miss out if you don't.
So good. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Okay, N?
N is necessity. So my rhyme for the day for N is specificity creates necessity. So and actually that specific example I just gave is perfect for it. So this one's really straightforward. Why does it matter to them? And the example would be, let's say, we could pick Stacy's business again. Stacy's going to love us for this. So let's just pretend for Stacy's business, someone's saying, maybe you're stuck and you wish you could scale and you don't know the team. She could be like, that's one example. Or she could say, hey, does your director of operations call you at 6:30 p.m. with an urgent decision, and you feel like that's the 17th time she's done that in the last 17 days, and like just building up on that example, that's when someone's going to sit there and be like, yes, this has happened, and then you got to slack from here and everything's a mess. That specificity, instead of being general, like specificity over generality, that's what I lean towards. So that alone, I feel like can help people.
So good. Okay, so you want to know what we're going to do now?
Tell me.
We're going to pause for an ads break. No, just kidding. No, we don't.
That's something I would do on my channel. I would be like, before you hear the rest of them.
But that's actually what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So here's what I want to do.
Okay, good.
Most podcasts, we start with the origin story, how you got started. We want to know all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we do. But for this one, I wanted to land and immediately give value and immediately position you because I know my listener. And my listener does love the 3. She matters. She's definitely driven by the 4 is what are the results. So I wanted to land here because I think that you have a very unique way of giving value, laying it out very clearly. People can follow along with the framework. But before we get to the good goods, we just made it rain. And now we want to turn them into makers. But before we do that, I want to get into the business of your business.
Yeah.
How did you get started and why did you choose, I'm going to serve small business owners with my agency?
Yeah, I can tell you. So I was working with these massive companies. So because right when I started my career in advertising, it was small businesses. And I immediately was like, I don't want to work with these small business owners. Like that was my initial gut reaction out of college. I was like, I want to work with these big companies like the ones I see on TV. And what I didn't realize once I actually got to work with those companies, which was still fulfilling because I got to a place where I was the person who only managed like 6-figure a day budget. So they were like 6 figures a day and there was so much pressure. So I had my son and I was working 24/7 because when you have multiple clients spending 6 figures a day, they do want hourly updates. So anyway, what I realized that I missed was the human connection and fulfillment I got watching a small business owner win. Like, yes, I made some corporate companies some massive money and I'm so proud of that. And also getting to be like the dental office is booked. Like the chiropractor office is full. The course creator actually was able to make the $10,000 a month that you're going for. Just seeing that, like I don't get to, it's like a selfish thing, but there's this book called Unreasonable Hospitality and it talks about how it feels so good to help other people. And like, I love being able to be like, oh, like Stacy being like, hey, this one change really helped me with my ads. Like that's fulfilling for me. And so I get to do that every day. So okay,
wait, pause. We have to give a shout out to Will Gadara. He was on the podcast.
Yes.
We'll be sure to link his episode in the show notes because as Ashley is mentioning unreasonable hospitality, I don't want to gloss over it. Like, it's a whole fundamental shift in the way that we serve people and a part of our business because we derive satisfaction and pride from it.
Yes.
And so she just decided to make a call on herself and say, I am good at what I do. I am unfulfilled in this aspect.
Yeah.
Can I work with a group of people that fulfill me?
Yeah.
And so you get to that point, you have a baby, and then what makes you decide I'm going all in on me?
So a podcast while I was pushing a stroller down the road. Yeah, or actually it was an audiobook, but I was listening to it. I haven't told you the story.
No.
It's so good. So I was living in an apartment and there was a neighborhood behind my house. I'm like pushing the stroller down the sidewalk, and I'm listening to like my first self-help book, and it was a Rachel Hollis book, and she said, you can want more for yourself for no other reason than because it makes your heart happy. And at that moment, I was working 24/7, feeling completely burnt out. My marriage was absolutely not going well. My relationships were terrible. I was 60 pounds heavier than I was today. I felt like my body, my relationships, my business was all just this mess. And then there's this girl on the phone saying, yeah, you can want more for yourself just because it makes you happy. And I was like, that is such a thought. Like I honestly felt like you made it to where you wanted to make, be thankful, and you're good. But that podcast literally changed my life. And then I started looking up, because I was teaching ads before and after work at this place called General Assembly for so long. And those people were like, Ashley, can I pay you to teach me? I'm like, what? More than what? And that's where it started. And so I clicked the two moments together and I said, she said, you can want more for yourself. And I had this skill. What if I put it together? And that was like my moment. I was like, I'm going to teach people something about advertising.
Okay. So we hear that and we love it because it is like the Hallmark special. Like
Totally. It happened.
This is small girl, big dreams, stroller.
Big dream.
You want to pay me what?
I was wild.
Okay, so we hear this, but like, let's get to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Like somebody's going to pay you and then you're like, this is my business. And then what are the stutter starts? Unless you just hit the ground and you were off.
No, I actually failed pretty bad. So my first course was called How to
you start with the course.
Sure did.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
We went straight to the top.
I was like, here we go. There was no funnel. There was no, I didn't even, like for all my clients, so many of them were so large. Like we weren't building email lists in the entrepreneur world. Like what I learned from corporate versus entrepreneur world is there's like some different lingo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I launched a course called How to Get a Job in Digital Marketing. No one got a job. No one bought it. It was so bad. But one good thing happened. Outside of the fact that I did spend 200 hours figuring out what Kajabi was and doing every free masterclass under the sun. Because I was like, I can't pay for it. Like that was my mindset. It was completely different than it is now. So I get that I, do all this. One person buys. And it is my director of operations now. She was like, hey, I just want you to know that when this does take off, at any point, I just want to be a part of it. Like I would be honored. And so she did not get a job.
Your first and only customer says, I want to build with you?
Yeah. No, I didn't know. And there's a story here because she went to high school with me. So you know how when you start your business, like it's just you and like your parents and basically that. So it was her. So she saw me like showing up and sharing, and then she bought it. And the sad thing was she never got a job in digital marketing, but she sure did get a job in advertising.
She did. That's a success story. You win. You won.
Yeah. So honestly, I would say only customer. I do believe like 7 other people bought it at some point. It was like $179, but nothing came of it. And that was my moment where I'm like, well, either this is not going to work or I just need to like take a new direction. And so I was realizing the teaching, the ads was like what I was even better at. I just was like, oh, maybe I can help people get a job because I'm in a like very well-known agency that people really want to be a part of. Let me just help them hire because I think I'd sat in on some hiring interviews. It wasn't the how to get a job I needed to do. It was the skill that I had acquired for 10 years.
Let's go back to that version of Ashley. Like you're selling like at this point in time, maybe 3-4 courses at $179 and you keep on trying. And then what's the gestation period of I launched this course to I think I need to change. And then how do you keep going in all of that?
Yeah. So 6 months later, for the next 6 months, I'm kind of questioning, am I done with the online course? Like, what am I going to do? And I was like, no, I think I'm going to create a course that's more in-depth because this little mini course was like an hour.
Okay.
Right. But I wanted to create like a robust puppy. Like I made a long thing. Like
4 ads.
4 ads training.
You're going to get a job. Okay.
I pivoted. I was like, we'll stick with advertising because I'm good, but we're not doing how to get a job anymore. So then I start figuring out Kajabi and watching free, how do you use this platform, just trying to make my own course.
Okay.
I record some Zoom meetings and then I just turn on some ads and I'm like, hey, I'm teaching this. I just want feedback. It's going to be a low price at the beginning. That's kind of what I did. I got 10 people in that, bribed a couple of them.
How much was it?
So for a couple people it was free, but it was $1,000. That was like my first true official sale of my first real launch and it did work.
Okay.
And it was $1,000. So I had, I think 7 paying people.
And then You get them in.
Yep.
And then you ask yourself, do I want to do this again? Were you doing a traditional launch model?
So I didn't know what it was, but it was a launch. Like I had ran ads and said there was a deadline to start. So it was like my first legitimate
And
launch.
then how long did you wait before you started again?
So I did a live 8 weeks training. So I did 8 weeks.
I love that.
I know.
So like that is like, you got to learn on the fly. You're there. People know that it's like
and
not
they're
live.
live.
Yeah.
So you're making the thing live. But I had my notes. I had a presentation for each one.
That's how I did every course in the beginning.
Yeah, that's it. So I made my own presentation, did it, and then they loved it. And then I actually got some wins over those 8 weeks,
Yes.
and that was like the domino. So I was like, okay, now I really need to do this. So I did one more launch, and that one, I raised my price. Every single launch I did for about a year, I raised my price every single time because we started getting more and more people.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
And so you're in the course world. And then how long were you in the course world before you changed the structure of your business?
Yeah. Gosh. Okay, so I have the story. This is where the crazy stuff happens. So I was 8 months pregnant.
With your second?
With my second, and it was May of 2023. And I was 8 months pregnant, and I saw an ad to learn about some sales skills. And I had just had a launch that was like $25,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's basically what I made my first year out of college. I'm like, this is insane. So because I had sold, I was like, maybe I can sell. So maybe I don't need the sales training. But I did end up buying it. And it was $4,000. I hid it from Kyle. I even told him it was $3,000 because it had 3,997. I was like, had a 3 in front of it. I was like, this has been math. It was $3,000. I told him the next day, and I thought he was going to be so mad, even though it was my business. But I was like so hesitant to tell him. And he was like, you spent $4,000? And I was like, yeah. He's like, whew. And I was like, that was it? Like, he was like, okay, I guess we'll just see. That was the first domino that fell. And then 6 months later, so I had my baby. And I did a launch right after that. And it was a $45,000 launch. So it was much better. And it was my conversion.
Based on the principles that you had learned from that sales program?
100%. I was so scared, Jasmine. Like I shivered when I spoke. Like even on voice memo when they couldn't see me. And now I'm like, we've literally sold millions of dollars from voice memo because I've gained the confidence. Yep. But I was so scared. And so I could tell that what I had learned worked. So then, like, the big moment happened in December of 2020.
Well, I just want to do some backwards math here because people are listening. So you had a launch for $25,000, which blew your dang mind. You pay $4,000 for a program, and the next launch is $45,000.
Yeah.
So we're looking at this massive ROI. Now, could we say it's tied exactly to that? No, but like it's something. So you made more than what you had paid in less than 6 months?
For sure.
Dang.
Oh, yeah. So that's what led to December. So I'd already seen the results, and like the conversations were just flowing. I was actually looking forward to sales conversations now. I was like, give me an objection. Like I was so ready. And so in December, I decided, like I had this thing, like people don't, it's kind of crazy, but I really felt like God called me into my closet, which has not happened before. And I felt like he called me into my closet. I got down on my knees and I opened up my hands, and I felt like what he was saying to me was, you trust me with your words, but not your money.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding you. It was, and he was like, open your hands and let it go and just trust. Like, I have this all figured out for you. And I've never, ever felt like I've heard God so clearly. So then I'm like sitting in my closet. I'm like, is this really life? Like, did that just happen? And I truly was like, you got to trust it. So then 2 hours later, I go on this Zoom call for a training, and they pitch this program. They call me on the phone. They're like, hey, it's $50,000. And I'm like, I'm about to pay $50,000. This is what God was talking about this morning in the closet. Like, that's how my brain was going.
Okay, see, girl, I was so sorry. When you said I hopped on a training, I thought you were doing a training. No. You were just an attendee being sold to.
That's exactly right.
Okay. So they pitched 50 grand.
Yep.
To do a program.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's so funny because a week before, I felt like God had told me to just have an in-person event in the next 45 days. He was like, you need to have an event. So in December, like this is the trajectory. December 1st, I'm like, God says, let's have an event. I'm like, all right. So December 5th, I get on this training. He's like, and you should pay $50,000 for this training. And I'm like, well, I just paid $25,000 for this venue and I didn't have it. Like I put it on a credit card, and the event, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have like 300 people here in 45 days. And I have like, 1,100 followers on Instagram, and the person is across the table. Like, I don't even think they wanted to take my money. Like, she was like,
you're a risk. You're a liability.
Yeah. She was like, do you have an event planner? Do you have anyone coming? I was like, no, but like, it's going to work out. And she was like, skeptic. So anyway, I was like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do. So anyway, I had just done the event, and then I say I'm going to do this training. So I'm over here, like, when that $50,000 situation happened, I knew I was going to have to get some credit cards. Like, I was like, this is about to be a thing. We're about to have to figure this out. So husband comes home. Couldn't wait to tell husband what had happened. So Kyle comes home. He walks in our bathroom. He wasn't in the restroom. People are always like, what? He was in the bathroom. And I was like, hey, I need to like talk to you about
but like, why are people acting like the fool? Like, you think you're not going to be in front of the restroom in front of your husband?
I know.
What in the world?
I know. I said that one time and someone's like, you told him about the 50,000 while I was on the potty? And I'm like, no, sir. But anyway, so I got him.
That's some rich people stuff. Because if you live in Southern California, not everybody has a separate commode area. I didn't get a separate commode area until I moved into this house. My husband and I, when ours was our bathroom, it was just like, we're just going to be real close, honey. Like, this is what we do.
Wow.
So like, you talked to him in the bathroom?
Yeah, I'm enlightened now. So yes, I did.
Why do you make out with this person? You like, come on.
I should change the story for effect. Like, so he's butt naked and we were in the bathroom.
That's right. The steam was going.
The steam was going. I was like, honey, should we spend 50,000? No. So I remember he grew up in South Georgia. He had never been on an airplane when we met. So his family did not grow up with money at all. And I remember like walking to him and I was like, hey, I really feel like God like told me to do something today. And he was like, what is it?
You used the God card.
I did, but it was true.
I know.
And he was like, I was like, I think I need to invest $50,000 today. And he said, God told you what? And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I really believe it. I told him the story and he could see how serious I was. And this is the story that I share for anybody who has a spouse that like, they really want to be on board with the decision. Maybe they won't be, but they care about them being on board. Is in that moment, I knew that if I had hesitation, it would transfer to him. So I was like, this is the moment where I'm like, I really do believe that this is what I'm going to do. Like, can we make this happen?
Did you use your sales tactics from that $4,000 course on Kyle? I know
sure
you did.
He
Absolutely.
He hates it. He's like, did you just sales girl me? I'm like, yes, but it worked. But it was also true. So he ends up saying, I'm actually, like, this was his words. He's like, I'm actually more afraid if we don't do it. And I'm like, yeah. Honestly, me too. So I called Chase Bank, negotiated with this lady, got a couple credit cards. She was like, you don't qualify for this. I'm like, but I will. It's going to work out. Had a 6-figure day at that event. Was able to pay off the credit cards, was able to pay off the coaching. And that was the first domino that fell. And I truly believe it's from those skills and it just working out like it was supposed to be.
That's the end of 2023. And we are...
Yeah, no, that was the end of 2023. Yep. And so January of 2024 was my first 6-figure day.
And so we are now February, March of 2026.
Yeah.
And so what happened in 24 and 25 that would lead you to build the agency? And can you talk about the structure of your business now?
Yeah. So basically what we do now is we teach a man to fish. So we basically teach people how to do their own advertising. And most people say advertising and they think Facebook and Instagram. But what I did at the agency was Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and beyond. It's like knowing where to put the allocation of the budget, not just like all in one thing. So that's what we do now. And so what happened, the short story of going from where we were to then is had the 6-figure day. That same people who now she's one of my closest friends, I then paid her $125,000 6 months later to get to work with her even more closely because like it had just paid off again.
Oh, great.
And she's like, well, you should be in my top 3 to be like as close as possible. I'm like, me too. So I called Kyle with that one. And this is the best part. I called Kyle. It was like the middle of the day. And I was like, hey, baby. He's like, what did they sell you? And I was like, yep. This is 125. He's like, it paid off before. You'll make it back again. Like he believed in me so much. It's like paying for teammates' expertise. It was we did that. So, and that's what led to a $1.4 million day in January of 2025.
And so now at the structure of your business, what is the nature of your business? You have an agency and you have like self-serve and then you have a mastermind. Like, what is this?
Basically, there's 3 tiers. We have one that's the course. It's like the just do it on your own. And then you get some feedback from my head coach. Then we have our mastermind, which is only 6-figure entrepreneurs and above. And then we have my top tier, which is only $3 million businesses and above. And it's a group of 15. And that one's full. So we basically have 3 different tiers.
Offers.
Yeah.
And so that is your main focus for 2026?
Yep, that's it.
And then your vehicle for getting people. So you are doing your own ads on the front end to get them into a what?
So everything that we do is basically, and just like the events that we did, those 2 events that we did, both of them, which were 300 people that had never known me, both of those were, there wasn't even a lead magnet. And it was just straight ads to a channel and people were paying $1,500 for a ticket because the structure of the landing page, I gave that credibility. I used some of this messaging. It just went straight there. I didn't have any other steps. It was just go to the event, show up at the event, I teach you, and then I sell the program. It's crazy how so many of my clients have a more robust funnel than like the funnel I did to grow from where we are.
And so your main focus in the business before we get into the maker, because before we get into the maker part, I want people to understand you, the maker.
Yeah.
So you can figure out how to reign on this front end because you're talking about the relevance and the articulation identifiability.
Yeah.
But your secret sauce is really understanding how did you make it, because you become the vehicle that people then believe.
Totally.
And so if we identify this is the structure, this is your credibility, you have a DIY working with a coach.
Yep.
You have a mastermind, and then you have the over 3 million.
Yep.
And then what are the promises? Like tier 1, you're learning how to set up your ads.
It is all about, that's exactly right. It's setup.
Okay.
Like your goal is that you can set up these ads on all these platforms. Tier 2 is where we kind of lead into a little bit more than just ads. That's why the event we have is called Launch Your Ads Live, where it's entrepreneurs are coming in, they're bringing themselves and their team. So like they can bring a couple people from their team, and one's setting up a YouTube ad over here, one's setting up a Google ad over here and getting feedback. So that's the Launch Your Ads Live. So they get the 2 in-person events. They get the support from me, because in the first option, they get support from my head coach. In the middle, they get me, they get my brand lead, they get my setup lead, they get these other LinkedIn expert, the Pinterest expert, and the in-person event. So it's much more than just ads. And then the top tier is there's more access to me. So we do an audit of your business. We do a one-on-one day together. We have an international trip that's more about like scaling your business than just ads. So those are like the 3 tiers that we built out.
This is fantastic.
It's fun.
And so I wanted to make sure that as we get into the rest of it, people understand like the heart behind what it is that you do and who you are.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to a lot of like the messaging.
Totally.
Who are you speaking to? And I remember listening to you having a conversation. You're just like, right now where I am is I love seeing small business owners win.
I do.
And this is who this podcast is for.
Yeah.
And so we're going to finish out the rest of this Rainmaker structure so that people leave this podcasting knowing you, knowing your intention, and then them trying it on their own and then following and joining your journey however they get intercepted.
You're amazing.
I love this.
I love it.
Okay. So we are relevancy, articulation, identifiability, necessity, and now we're at M.
Memorability. And I have a great example.
Okay.
So the reason that I rhyme, the reason I use alliterations is so intentional, because that's how people remember. That's actually what the brain needs to latch on to something to say, I get this now. And so memorability, this is how you stand out. So I have a perfect example. So we just bought an office building for my office, which is like a big deal. So we got an office building, and the person who is doing it, he owns a construction company. And he has a construction company where they focus typically on the basement. So on his Instagram, it said, we renovate your basement. I was like, that's not memorable. So I was, once I have something on my brain, I get fixated on it. I'm like, I will solve this. And my brain goes to work. Does your brain do that? Yes. So I was laying in Hawaii, on vacation, not supposed to be thinking about ads. And I'm laying there and I made a rhyme and I was like, this is going to be perfect. He's going to love this. And so the next morning I said, hey, I have a new tagline for your business so that people can remember. And he was like, hit me. And I said, next time someone says, what do? You're going to say, we renovate and elevate your basement to take your bottom level to the next level. And I was like,
that's good.
Yeah. I was like, it's so simple. You don't have to overdo it. It's just like, it's the bottom level. That's exactly what I want. And just having something that you say, like I know the shirt that we did, like you have this thing that you say, those things that you say, it's how people remember you.
Okay, we have to add context.
We have to.
Ashley came in. This is not going to be on the video, but it will definitely go out on social.
Yes.
Ashley and her team brought in a t-shirt that says Rainmaker. And I was like, this is so cute. She's bringing me swag. She brought me a bracelet that said Rainmaker. I thought it was so cute. But she's like, look at the sleeve. And then it has her logo and my logo on the sleeve. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. And then she's like, turn it around. And on the back is a saying that I say every time I go to the gym.
Yep.
Didn't want to do it. Glad I did. And so to me, when Ashley is describing what we say for memorability, she was able to identify something and put it on a sweatshirt as if it was something that I owned. And this is taking the bottom level and turning it to the next level.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Okay, but wait a minute. So somebody's hearing this, they're like, oh my gosh, but I don't have Ashley to be thinking on a beach in Hawaii for me. What do you recommend for people to start doing?
I can just tell you the prompt to type into ChatGPT and give it this info.
Well, don't hold out.
Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to go into ChatGPT and you're going to tell ChatGPT exactly what you do, who you do it for, and why you're better than anybody else that does that. I want you to tell it your tone. So maybe you're very direct. Maybe you're funny. Maybe you have a sense of humor. Like really give it all these details to say, here's who we are, why we're different, why we're better. And then say, I need a short tagline. And like we talked about on Jasmine's podcast, we need it to be memorable. So I really want to use an alliteration or a rhyme so that it sticks with people's brain. Yeah. And so You can even copy and paste some of your text from maybe a caption that you liked or an email you liked or a bit of your website. Say, here's an example of my text. And then say, help me create a tagline that people can remember specifically for my advertising or marketing. And so it'll give you a bunch. And sometimes it'll hit it right off at the beginning because you're telling it you want an alliteration or a rhyme. So it's going to use your context of your industry and make it good.
That's good. So right there, we're already hitting the ground running.
Yep. Someone's going to be like,
that's right.
Avoidance. These are just some things I made up that I think you should avoid.
Okay, good.
So when people speak about what they do, they're human. So they talk about their thing first.
Okay.
So it's like, hey, when you enroll or buy Social Curator, whatever it may be, you get this. It's like, instead, what if it was like, here's the payoff that you get when you have this? People just put it in the wrong order. And so I would so much rather you say, what is the payoff of what I do, and put that first. And then, so that's step number 1, which ties to step number 2, is I do not like when people say if, basically ever.
Okay.
So I don't say, if you enroll in the mastermind, you get this. I say, when you enroll in the mastermind. I just remove if from my vocabulary, pretty much. I also like doing and instead of but, which I actually noticed that you do. I don't know if you know that, but you do it often. Instead of saying, here's the thing that we're talking about, but it's like, yes, this is hard, and it's going to be so worth it. Like, I love saying the and. And then the other thing that sometimes I think we all do it sometimes, but I really like to know that there is one person that's talking in the camera, and it's one human. So instead of saying, hey, everybody, hey, y'all, it's like, hey, are you struggling to get the right people to find your business? Like, this is what you can do. So I really try to just always know there's one person and speak to that. So avoiding it, like being assumptive, assuming they're going to buy, saying the payoff first and then the program, and not using but, because it's like a negative connotation.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good. K for knowledge.
So K is knowledge, what you know about them. So my rhyme for this one is lingo is bingo. I have an example. So I have a client who's a speech language pathologist, and her number 1 best performing ad, it was just pink, and it just said, SLPs, are you tired of soap notes? And I don't know about Jasmine, but I know when I read that, I was like, do you have a typo in your ad, Christina? I'm like, what's a soap? And why are we talking about soap? I was like, I was really confused. But that's the lingo. She was saying speech language pathologist. Are you tired of using soap notes? And soap notes are this like thing that they have to do. And so it actually hit because the lingo is bingo, because it tells them that you know what you're talking about.
You're an insider.
You're an insider.
That's right.
That's it. So knowledge is really simple. It's just like, let them know that you know the lingo.
Okay. So relevancy, articulation, identifiability, necessity, memorability, avoiding, knowledge, E for energy.
That's right. So energy is, it's so hard because it's similar to articulation, but I feel like articulating is taking what you're communicating and adding some of your personality to it. Energy is like really how you're showing up overall. So I had a batch day where my poor videographer, I was in the middle of reading the teleprompter and I just started crying. And he was like, he'd never seen it. So one of the songs that he knows I like to pump up to before we do a batch recording day is Unstoppable. So he just walks over to the phone and just turns on Unstoppable, and he's like, I'm unstoppable. And I'm like, feels very stoppable right now. Like, I was just having a really bad day because I did not protect my energy that day. I was tired. I didn't get enough sleep. I decided to respond to client and team messages in the middle of batch day. I was doing all bad. Isn't that bad?
There's no judgment. There's no judgment. Do you know that right before I came on here, I was like, I opened up my laptop. I was like, are you going to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you will not do this.
Can't.
You got to preserve. Oh, we got to stay in the zone. Yes.
You do, because your brain will get sidetracked.
Absolutely.
And I have really learned that. So I, even with my workouts on batch days now, I won't do a weightlifting workout. Like, I will just walk with my vest. I will do maybe a couple push-ups and stretch, but like, load is load, whether it's mental or physical. And so I preserve my energy so that when you're seeing the ad, you're like, ooh, that person is just like, you can tell they're feeling good. Like, their energy's there.
Okay, but somebody once told me, how you make content is how people feel content.
Absolutely.
But don't you think it puts us at a disadvantage on the batch day when you're looking at this and you're like, I ain't got it today, and this like 12 pieces right here. What do you do?
I mean, I really did call that day early. I had paid him. I had blocked the day. It was a mess, but I was just like, people will watch this and be like, something's wrong with her. She's agitated. She's frustrated. And so I really did stop the day that day. And it really helped me, because I feel like I wasted a lot of time and energy and money on everybody's part. And I was like, I will take care of my energy now. I think the challenge that my clients I see make, or anybody that's making an ad, is they will try to do it in between a bunch of things. So just get yourself into the flow and protect yourself so that you're not doing a rushed ad or a stressed ad.
Okay. So can I add something? And then you can tell me I'm wrong.
Tell me.
I mean, I love when people tell me I'm wrong.
actually
I really
do too.
do. Okay.
Okay.
So when it comes to energy, I don't have, most of the time, I don't have the chutzpah or the wherewithal or the cojones to look at my videographer and just say, today is not the day. So instead of going down and like beating myself into submission, I will think of somebody beyond me. So it seems like for the past few years when things have gotten like really hard and it's just not the day to create content, I know it's not the day. And then I just think about my daughter and I'm just like, who do you want her to be? How do you want to show up? And when you look at her when she's having a really hard day, you would say, I know what that feels like. And here's a few things. And I just figured that when I started putting myself out of the way and be like, you put her first, I was like, dang, I'll have 1,700 bad days for you to have one good hour. And that was like an energy shift for me. So people can hate that too, but
I don't hate it. I think that is utter mental strength. And I think sometimes we have that ability to turn it around. And that day I couldn't, like, I was
I'm
just
not saying
like,
you should have.
But
I'm not saying you
that,
should have.
like, honestly, if you just prepare yourself to have it, like an automatic replacement thought, that really you can actually turn things around. So I'm going to try that next time. I'm going to be like, next time you're about to go down the hill, we're going to have this in
We're going to put
mind.
that music on and you're going to think about your baby boys.
That's
and you're going to think about, I'm going to be in Hawaii.
That's it.
I'm going to show them what's up.
That is it.
Okay, that leads us to R. Let's close this Rainmaker on out.
That's it. R is reputation. So it's why they'll believe you over anybody else. So just like that example I gave at the beginning, the moment that Stacey said, hey, I have an 8-figure business, and automatically someone's going to say, I'm going to trust you. So I'll tell you the rhyme I have for this one. I feel like I have a rhyme on every one, is credibility does not negate humility. I think people are like, I feel like people always say that. They're like, Ashley, I don't want to say that in my ad. I feel braggy. I'm like, the reason that they will watch your ad is because they trust you. And this example, so I was at a mastermind and my sales coach, who's now a friend, wanted me to teach something because I had a really good launch using the frameworks that they had said. And she was like, can you teach the mastermind? Well, not many of them knew me. So I go up to the front of the mastermind and some of them were like texting, and she stops it. She's like, Ashley, she's like, please stop. She's like, hey, everybody, will you listen to Ashley real quick? Ashley, we tell everybody why they should listen. She was like, well, this is my $3 million launch in a row. And everybody was like, okay. But I felt guilty being, I really did. I was like, I don't want to say that I had something that they didn't have. So I'm like, I'm just going to do like this. And she was like, no, that's the reason they're going to listen. Just say that. And so now it's something I've overcome, is humility is not negated by communicating your credibility. So I even today saw one of your ads and I'm like, I want to like put a little nugget at the beginning. I really do.
Okay, well, what nugget would you put?
I'll show you the screenshot of the ad. I had an idea for you. I was like, I want you to be able to say, because people that don't know you, they're like, man, she's beautiful, she's hardworking. And then they click on the profile and they trust you. But what if they don't? Like, what if they're brand new? I'm like, I just want to.
Okay, well, just tell me right now. Let's bring it out.
Okay, so let's talk about some stats. What stats would you be most proud of for the class that you're selling right now? You have is it a master class that you're doing?
Yeah, it's a free master class.
Okay, so tell me, what are some stats that would relate to the content that you're going to teach in the master class?
Like stats, like what do you mean?
Like maybe. So what are the topics that you're teaching within the masterclass?
So it's how marketing has changed in 2026 and how we play within the new rules of marketing.
Okay.
So they're going to come and they're going to learn the 4 best things that they could do for their marketing in their business.
Okay, great. So for example, I have been doing ads for a decade. How long have you been killing it with social media?
Easily a decade.
Okay. So that's great. So for over a decade, you've grown to hundreds of thousands of followers, maybe 1 million across all your platforms, right? That needs to be said more in your ads. You say that at the beginning and more people will watch.
Can I tell you my limiting belief?
Tell me.
Is that so oftentimes I'll get introduced as an influencer and every single time I will say, no, I'm an entrepreneur with influence. So what I don't want to come across as is my advocation for, oh, you're going to become an influencer. And like, no, you're going to become an entrepreneur who's like a badass who knows how to sell.
Yeah.
And it's on the back of all this other stuff, but I don't want to posture, because then I also think that somebody's like, well, I'm not going to get millions of followers on the platform. So like, why would I come to this class?
Okay. So here's what I would say.
Yeah. Rip me a new one.
Yeah. So let me ask you this before I tell you that. Why do you think people are going to say that?
Because that's a lot of times what has been said.
Okay.
Like, oh, she's an influencer. I was like, skirt. No, son.
Okay.
I don't get paid to talk about somebody else's product.
Yeah, so we're going to say this then. Okay, so you have strong conviction for what you've done. I love this. we are the same when we're like, no, this is what we do. Okay, so I would say I'm an entrepreneur that's grown my business to over 1 million followers across platforms. I've been doing social media for over a decade, and there's no one, you can figure out the way, but there's no one that has X, Y, and Z that is teaching social media the way that we're teaching it for 2026. Like you're building that credibility from the beginning and saying entrepreneur. And obviously, because your messaging is your targeting, the algorithm's going to pick up on, oh, she's saying entrepreneur, not influencer creator. So it's going to be likely to show to more influencers.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you're staying the night in Newport. And so I want you by the pool tomorrow. And then I want you to wake up and be like, Jasmine, I got your jingle.
I'll be like,
I got your rhyme.
Love you so much. Here's your ad script.
Thank
for
you.
your next one.
Thank you. I love that. I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear it. And you know, it's like you will either fight for your limitations or you're going to find a reason.
Yep.
So I just have to go back and be like, what is the reason? And am I willing to try it? And there are very few people, you amongst them, that would be willing to do whatever it takes to test to see if we get a different result.
Might as well. Yeah. What if more? Oh God, I couldn't even imagine with you. I mean, you've worked so hard for this credibility. You got to say it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, that's my biggest takeaway. That is my biggest takeaway.
I'm so glad. And there's more coming tomorrow, too.
There is. There is. I know. Like, so people who are not watching, I've invited her to my mastermind.
And so I've invited Jasmine to my mastermind.
Yeah, we out here like masterminding, cross-pollinating. And I think that that's so much of the synergy that you and I would be able to create. Because I believe that marketing and branding is like a tenet. And then what you do on top of that is you expand it.
That's right.
And so like Batman and Robin over here trying to like blow up your businesses in all of the best ways.
That's right.
Like kapow. So we want people going to Win with Paid Ads podcast.
Yes.
We want them listening to all of your free content. I know you do behind the scenes content. I know you
do.
share the tea on what investments you've made and how you're applying it to your business. And so there's a lot of goods there. And so we're going to get them to your podcast. They're going to go deep with you. You are on all social platforms.
Yeah.
You are going to see one of our ads. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
That's how I came across her.
100%. That's the goal.
And that's the goal. And you are the goal. And this is credibility. And I want to say thank you because you are highly relevant. Your articulation is on point. You have identified who you are for. You have become a necessity in my business life and now in my mastermind. You are highly memorable, especially when you bring in gifts for people to have. You avoid by teaching us what not to say. You are highly knowledgeable. Your energy is a 12 out of 10 and your reputation precedes you. Thank you 1,000 times over. Thank you for watching and listening to The Jasmine Star Show.